Guess what, you guys? We're going back to Costa Rica for the Good Vibe Retreat.
You have 6 months to come and have the most amazing trip of your life. We're so excited to bring our tribe back to Costa Rica on February 1st through the 6th or February 8th through the 13th. And guess what? Right now, for a limited time, we have a $250 early bird deposit special. $250 secures your spot to Costa Rica. And when I tell you, this trip is transformational. Not only just because you're going to meet a group of like-minded women, you're going to get fed amazing food, you're going to be sitting next to luscious, beautiful beaches. You walk away feeling like a new bitch.
Take a break. You've been thinking about it. This is your sign. Invest in yourself. Leave those kids behind. Leave that husband behind. And let us take care of you. You have nothing to even worry about. Just book your trip, book your ticket, and pull up.
Go check out our 5-star ratings. Click the link in this episode description. Go back and listen to some of our testimonials that we've shared over the last few months on the podcast. And we'll see you in the jungle. Welcome back to Good Moms, Bad Choices. I'm Erica.
And I'm Mila.
And it's Wednesday. I'm not going to sing this time.
Hey,
I know you're going to miss it.
Hey, ladies. Happy hump day.
Happy hump day.
How's it going? How you doing? How's your week?
My week is going well. I'm wearing a bright color because I woke up this morning feeling not bright. And I was like, maybe if I put something bright on, I'll feel better. And then I did. And I feel better.
Oh, wow. I never thought about that.
So here's a tip. Actually, I don't have my pink lipstick on. That was going to be like the extra added oomph.
Well, but we must have been on the same page because I'm also wearing florals.
I have my pink lipstick in the bag. Man, I really want someone to go get it for me.
It's a new moon. We're springing out. We're springing out into our new form. That's what the astrology said.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Anyway, I'm doing pretty good. I think I'm breaking out in hives.
Oh, lovely.
But everything's fine. Everything's going well. Should we introduce our guest so YouTube doesn't get pissed off?
Yeah, let's introduce her.
Today, we have a very, very special guest. Without further ado, we have singer, mama, wife,
platinum-selling musical artist,
actress,
American Idol #6 winner. Right? Yeah.
Yes. I was like, wow, you're getting specific.
Yes, come on. Jordin Sparks!
I know, I was like, they're going to wonder who this third laugh is coming out of nowhere.
Well, people are get on us because we always kind of talk for a second, and then they're like, you're so rude, your guest is just sitting there. And I usually brief our guest first. I forgot. I didn't tell you that.
No worries.
But sometimes I feel pressure to just get into it because they curse me out on YouTube, and then I curse them back out. So
Can you stop cursing people out on YouTube?
It's fine, just so you know, I was thoroughly enjoying their little moment, so I'm okay.
Are you okay, Jordin?
Yes,
okay.
I'm
We
good.
disrespect Jordin Sparks, okay?
Welcome to the, what are we going to call it? Like, welcome to the Good Media Studio. Like, welcome to Good Moms.
The good mom,
mansion.
The good mama den. The good den.
It's Mama's den.
The good cave.
The babe cave? No.
Oh, God. It sounds very Caucasian.
Okay, well.
It's very Caucasian.
I don't know. We're going to have to reconvene with the location.
Okay, we'll think about it.
Welcome to the Good Moms.
Thank you.
Bad Choices show.
I'm happy to be here. I think this was a good choice for me today, so that's good.
I'm glad. Before you came, did you do any research? Or did you oh no,
I didn't actually. I do know Erica just through, how many years has it been? I don't even know, but I met your mom first, on the set of Sparkle all those years ago.
I didn't know you knew her.
Yeah.
I don't. You don't tell me shit.
We know of
we haven't
been able to actually sit and chill.
My
It's
mom
always been in
did
passing.
makeup on Sparkle, but then I think she quit in the middle of it.
Yeah, I was very sad.
Yeah, there was a controversy, and my mom was like, "Fuck that shit," and was like, "I'm out."
Yep.
Growing up, the original Sparkle was by far my favorite movie.
I don't know why my parents were letting me watch Sparkle at a young age, but it's literally, I just remember today when she said that, I was like, I fucking watched Sparkle, the original, 4,000 times. I love that. So when the new one came, I was like, I can't wait for this shit. But then I just realized, like, why the fuck was a 7-year-old watching Sparkle?
I know, there's a lot of adult themes in that movie. But hey, the dresses are pretty and the music is good, so I get it.
I didn't have a lot of supervision growing up, guys. I turned out fine.
But yeah, so I mean, we've crossed paths a lot, but I mean, that was she showed me a beauty blender for the first time on Sparkle, and I was like, what is this? She goes, this is my invention. She's like, look at my daughter. And that was my first introduction of you, was your beautiful picture. And then we've kind of just crossed paths since then. So I'm glad to actually be able to like sit and chill and talk with you. Yeah.
Wait, fun fact, guys. I auditioned for Sparkle.
You did?
I did. I auditioned for Sparkle because in my former life, well, I guess I'm still an actress, but I'm on hiatus for a long time.
Not your former life.
But I did a lot of acting when I was a kid, and so I remember auditioning for Sparkle, and I remember watching Sparkle, and I was like, now y'all know goddamn well I cannot sing like this. Why are you going to embarrass me? I vividly remember the audition, and I was like, this seems like a setup. I remember practicing in my room, like really trying to hit notes that I had no business trying to hit. Man. So when I heard that Jordin Sparks got the role, I was like, that makes more sense.
Were you traumatized from your attempt?
No, but because when you audition for a lot of shit. I auditioned for so much shit that I'm like, girl, first of all, like, I don't even look like these parents. Like, they will really try to match you up with some people, and I'm like, this is a waste of my time. Stop wasting people's time.
I fucking hate bad casting.
They waste people's time. It's so annoying. Yeah. That's one of the reasons I got really disillusioned with acting too. I was like, because I was starting to tell my agents, like, I'm not going. They're like, you're not in the position to say no to auditions. I'm like, I'm not going because I'm not going to drive to a place and do some shit that I'm never going to get the call back for.
Right. It's just a waste of time. And also, they work for you, so
true. Well, it's a mind fuck. But it's a mind fuck. Yes. They will really confuse you.
Yes. No, I get it. I was there.
Like I was scared to do anything. Color my hair, cut my hair, do
change anything
from the headshot.
Right. You have to look like this all year, unless you're taking new headshots for $2,000
at the time.
But you haven't got enough work, so you can't afford them. Keep that fucking haircut, bitch.
But yeah, so it was crazy times, and I'm excited to be in the space that I'm at now. Like, because you're right, that was like a lifetime ago. It was like 12 years ago. I'm not even the same person. You know what I mean?
That's crazy how we evolve. So once you, those cycles go quickly. But tell us your journey. I know you've done so many things.
Girl, I went on your wiki. I said, this is the longest wiki. This bitch has had a career.
It's been a long
I was like, every phase. I was like, this is a book right here.
No, literally, American Idol would be a box set in and of itself.
But I feel like you had, even before American Idol, I was reading up on you too, because you've been you left school to homeschool to focus on your singing career even before that. So this is something you've been working towards for a very long time.
So let's start with when I was born. No, so
when's your birthday?
I'm December 22nd.
Oh, nice. You're a cuspy.
Yeah, I'm on the cusp. I'm a Capricorn with fiery tendencies. So I got my feet on the ground, but don't test me. But nobody in my family sings like me. It's definitely a gift, and nobody taught me how to sing. I've never taken voice lessons or anything like that. It's just strictly a gift. And I knew around 4 that I was getting attention from it, but I didn't really know what that meant. It wasn't until I was around 7 that I realized that I was actually good, and that it was what I loved it so much. And then I saw Kelly Clarkson win Idol, and I was like, I want to do that. But it wasn't the show necessarily. I just wanted to. She was winning, and people were crying, and she's singing, and there's pyrotechnics. I was like, I want to do that.
I remember that season too.
Yes, I want to do that. Whatever she's doing, how she's touching people with her music, that's what I want to do. And obviously didn't know that American Idol would be around as long as it was, and still is. But yeah, so I sang all around town. I sang in church. I did local competitions that turned into more national competitions, Gospel Music Association. I did Music in the Rockies. I did all of these different things. I auditioned for Star Search. I did America's Most Talented Kids when I was 14. That's where I met Tori Kelly. And so we've known each other for a while and kind of worked our way up. And then I auditioned for Idol, and I won at 17. And then I just been working ever since. So it's been pretty crazy, to be honest. 2020 was the first time I really had a home life as an adult. So I was like, I love this. I can stay home. What? I've been preparing for this my whole life, So, but that was also when I fell back in love with music again, because you know how the industry can disillusion you, and there's just so many things. And I was like, okay, I got to take a step back because this isn't serving me anymore. And I really fell back in love with music then, and now I'm really, really happy with the music and stuff that I'm creating now. I can't wait to put this project out. It's gonna be so good.
I know that people are excited. Do you think that starting a career so young, how has that, I guess, affected how you've shown up as an adult? Because I feel like when you are under the microscope so young, people are watching your every move. You almost feel like you can't fuck up. Like you feel like you have to kind of be have this element of perfection in ways. Yeah. And to be honest, like as an outsider looking in, and because I don't know you that well, I would say like I look at you and I'm like, she's like had like the very perfect kind of buttoned up career and like followed the rules in ways. Do you feel like there's pressure to kind of uphold that in ways too? Or is that just kind of naturally how you show up?
I think it's a little bit of both, because I've never been like, give me a book. Just give me a book and I'll stay home. That's usually where my happy place is. So I've never been one to be out and doing crazy things. I like to take risks, but calculated risks.
Capricorn.
Yeah. See, I like to take calculated risks. So I have my moments where I let loose. That's every once in a blue moon. But like part of it is just naturally who I am. The other part is, yes, not only from American Idol and being under that microscope, but my dad played football professionally for the New York Giants before I did Idol. So our family was kind of in the spotlight a little bit. So even though it wasn't directly on me, I was kind of on the outskirts of that spotlight. And so
also seeing your dad and how he had to kind of also
had to see how he interacted with people, certain things that he had to do, how he interacted with fans. And so I learned a lot from him, and he's awesome. My dad has the personality, you can fall in love with him in 5 minutes. Like he will make you feel like you've been best friends for so long, and it's really special in that way. But I think it's taken me since I met my husband, and we're going on 6 years. Since I met him, I've never felt, before him, I had never felt 100% okay with being myself 100% of the time, because of all the things and the cameras and the microscopes and the interviews and, oh, you better watch what you say, because especially now, you say something gets taken out of context for clickbait, whatever it is, and it doesn't matter how much you're careful. It doesn't matter. People are still going to take it and twist it and take it how they want to. But my husband, Dana, really saw who I was and didn't make me feel bad for it. You know how sometimes you're just like, you do something goofy and they like look at you and you're just like, okay, mental note to never do that again. Yeah. I've never had that moment in terms of like my personality. Obviously it's like, okay, if we are having an argument or there's, something and it's like, oh, okay, got it. Let's not go that way. But yeah, he was the first person to really see me, and I really appreciated that, because a lot of people have seen me. You know what I mean? A lot of people see me, but he knows me. And it's been the last couple years, actually, since 2020, falling in love with music again. Really, I had so much stuff that was waiting to come out, so many stories, so many experiences. I have 170 something songs that are in my vault, like just waiting to come out, so being able to do that really helped me get more in touch with myself and who I am now. Like who am I now after becoming a mom, after being the American Idol sweetheart? Who's Jordin? And so I'm still discovering that, but at the same time, like the 17-year-old me could not fuck with me now. You know what I mean? Like, no, like I'm still 17 eternally, I think, just because that was when that major event happened for me, and we get not stuck, but we like stay within those major moments, whether they're traumatic or just amazing. And so I still feel eternally very in touch with my inner kid. But at the same time, I'm really, really happy to be shedding these older layers that don't serve me anymore. They're just going to kind of keeping me stuck. So I've been doing a lot of work, a lot of shadow work, a lot of like, well, why do I feel this way towards this? And really trying to get underneath all that stuff so I can just be free. Because I want to be open and honest with my music, and fans can tell when you're not. So I'm really trying to be in this authentic space, more sensual with myself, more loving to myself, more giving to myself. And in turn, that I'm able to do that for everyone else. But girl, sometimes I'm tired.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
I'm tired.
Well, on top of being a mom,
Yeah.
trying to like, tap into yourself and prioritize those things can feel impossible.
Well,
on top of like the microscope, people waiting for you to fuck up, or like just not even necessarily waiting for you to fuck up, but just watching you.
Yeah, like a hawk.
Yeah.
And did you grow up in the church? Like, is your family religious, and you came from like?
Yeah, I grew up in a non-denominational household, but church was really something that we definitely stuck with. When I was younger, I went to like, what's it called? Awana, I think. Like,
like Kairos? No,
something like you just have where all the kids go in the middle of the week, like on Wednesdays, and then
the youth group.
Yeah, kind of. But I grew up doing that. I sang a lot in church. I was a part of the like high school worship team before Idol happened. And then, I wasn't allowed to join the choir, the big choir, because only adults could join, but I was allowed to sing the solos with the choir. So that was nice. So I, was able to do that, but that definitely played a big part in my identity when I was younger. My faith still is a big part of me, but I feel like now, at this juncture in my life, I'm more of I really like knowledge. I love to learn. And so I'm really in this space of just reading as much as I can, researching as much as I can about everything. Like, I want to know, why does somebody believe this over here? Why does somebody believe that? Why, as the person that I was raised to be, or as a Christian, why are we not supposed to be okay with that? I'm just like questioning. And I think that's something that I really want to pass down to DJ, because growing up it was, you don't question that. You don't question it.
I was going to say, like, what was the factor that you were like, shift from this is my belief system to, hey, let me explore all these things to actually like figure out what it is that I actually believe? Honestly,
I think a lot of it had to do with just being propelled into the industry. It's completely different from, a Christian household and church.
It'll definitely make you question everything.
Yeah, it makes you question. And a lot of the people that I was around, my bandmates and, some of the cool artists and friends that I was able to meet, are completely different walks of life from myself. And I think a lot of it too, there's somebody who's very special. He was my pianist, and he would help like do choreography, and he's just so sweet. His name is Scotty. He now lives in Costa Rica. Good for him. I'm so happy. I know.
Scotty, we'll be there soon, babe.
Yes.
See you soon, Scotty.
See you in New Year's.
But he grew up, and obviously it's not my story to tell, but he did grow up as a Jehovah's Witness, but he is gay. And he had to grow up with that, and his family like completely cutting him off, and I didn't understand, because I'm like, why? You're amazing. Like, why would somebody do that? Right. And then in terms of like, loving people, you love who you love, and we would have conversations, and I would get emotional because I'm like, I don't understand why this is so hard for people to grasp. Like, look, even now I'm just like, I don't get it, and I'm sorry. No. I'm coming off of that time of the month, so everything is like, but I'm also a very empathetic person, and that doesn't make sense to me.
We cry here, girl.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. And I know I'm in a safe space, but that I think was the first. I don't remember what year that was or what time, but it was 18 to 19 where I just was like, okay. And I've always been a little bit different than my family. My grandpa one time, I'll never forget, those little tests they used to have where, okay, you fall on this side of the scale or this side of the scale. And it was a Democrat or Republican. And I was right in the middle. And my grandpa looked at me like, what? And I said, I'm just answering the questions the way I think. So I've always been a little bit, not necessarily a black sheep, but I've always thought differently. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I've had a more open mind. Not saying that my family is crazy or bigoted, because they're not. They're the most loving people. But I think, when you're raised one way and you learned it all the time, most people stay there because they need that. because it's the structure that they've learned, and I don't want to say fed, but basically have been fed.
We're programmed in ways, it's familiar, it's comfortable, it's what you're indoctrinated to.
Yeah.
We talk about that in our book. It's just like we're coming to the world as like blank canvases.
Exactly.
And this is not a great example, but I always say like pets were domesticated. Like sit, stay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like even as moms, we kind of we domesticate our kids. Hey, don't grab that. Hey, don't stare.
Yeah.
Hey, don't do
We
that.
don't believe this. We don't believe that.
Yeah, like no, we don't say that, and it's just we have this like incredible responsibility to gift our kids with either just continuing that cycle and saying this is what we believe and that's that, or giving them the gift of curiosity and exploration and like, what do you believe? You know,
what do you think?
What do you think?
I'm always asking him what he thinks. I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, that's a good answer too.
Right.
It's okay.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
And I think more moms need to hear that, that you can believe whatever you want to believe, but you don't have to necessarily like your child doesn't have to be born into your beliefs for them to,
right.
Because everybody, we're literally spirits, souls that come through, and
we're just in a vessel.
We're just in a vessel.
Just passing by.
Literally.
Well, I also think if things don't, I think a lot of times because how we're raised, we know certain things don't add up to us, but we still resist it, we still go against it and we follow suit, and it's okay to change your mind. It's okay to question. You don't have to abandon all the parts of your religion because you don't agree with this, whatever, this chapter or this verse or whatever it is. There's, I think, beauty in all of it. Even in, I can't say that I'm a Christian. I'm a spiritualist. I know people listening are like, what the fuck does that mean? The God lives within me. That's what it means. I make the fucking rules.
I believe in love.
I believe in love. I do. I believe in kindness. I believe that there is something much bigger than us here that controls what's happening. But I think that it's so funny. The other day, my housekeeper, I'm going to share this story. My housekeeper, she is, I don't really know her that well, even though she's in my home. I knew she was like pretty religious based on the mom's referral. Like she was referred to me from another mom. She's like, Betty's pretty religious. I was like, I don't care if Betty's religious as long as she's, safe and cleans my house well, is kind. Yeah. And so, me and Betty have, had a few conversations, nothing too deep, but she seemed like a kind lady, and she is a kind lady. But anyway, I was out of town, and my brother went over there, and he's gay, and I think he'd been there before. They've had to cross paths before, but maybe she had never seen him be intimate with his partner, like kiss him. Yeah. And so I guess they were kissing or something. And then on the way out in Spanish, she must have said like, you guys need salvation or something. Oh. And he didn't really understand what it meant, but his boyfriend is, I don't want to say he's like El Salvadorian or something. He was like, she just said we need salvation. So my brother called me and was like, sis, listen. Either you gonna say something or I'm gonna say something, and I was like, oh,
he couldn't wait.
I cannot leave it up to him. It will not go well. So I was like, okay, well, let me handle it. Yeah. And so Betty came over, and I was like, hey, Betty, so listen, I heard that you met my brother. She's like, oh yeah, I know your brother. And I was like, so I heard you said he needs salvation. And she's like, yeah, I did. And I was like, okay, well, is it because he's gay? And she said, yeah. And I was like, okay, I was really hoping you were going to say no.
It wasn't me. Anything
I was really hoping because I really need you to clean this house.
Yes, right. I know.
And she was like, yeah, no, I used to be a really big sinner, Erica. And then actually I asked Tali, I was like, was Betty a big sinner? She's like,
is that where you got her from?
Yeah. She was like, no, she was like a thug back in the day. And I was like, what? I was like, what kind of thugging was Betty doing? Anyway.
Not she was a thug back
she
in
was
the
like,
day.
she was not living a good life. That's what she said.
I have questions.
So, I was like, well, Betty, like, that's my brother, and like, this is his life, and like, he should live it. And you made him feel really uncomfortable. And she was like, well, that's just my belief system. And I was like, well, I need you to leave your belief system at the door. And she was like, nice. Well, I don't think I should work for you because I don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable. And then I was kind of like almost started to backpedal, like, well,
I really need.
Maybe we can work something out.
Just come over and.
But then I was like, okay, consciously, I can't have this. This can't be. But she, it was fine. We ended just fine or whatever. But she
civil conversations. It's easy to talk through things. Like, it's so simple. We can all do it.
It did. It did. But I was just like, damn. Like, and I said to her, I was like, it's like your God doesn't believe that everyone should experience love. Like, what does your God believe? And she's like, that's just,
you trying to get to the bottom of it.
I really did, because I was really hoping we can come to a common ground.
Because I need this house clean, damn it. This house
I've known
needs to
him a
be
long
clean.
time. He only likes men. I think he's tried. Genuinely, I do.
He really did. Even with me, no. So no, this is not my real brother, guys. Sorry. Let me rewind, because that sounds weird. That sounds weird.
Can you please clarify? Jesus.
You're not blood brother. But anyway, I don't know where that came. I think I was going off of just like people's belief systems and just there's understanding of these putting into box like what love is supposed to look like and how love is supposed to show up and how it like relates to your life. And you know, you can love people and like I love Betty. I wish her the best. I want her the best for Betty. But I also had to like protect my brother, you know, because he's going to be in my house always and be in my life always, and I have to respect his comfortability in those ways and protect him. So I don't know. I just like those parts of that part of any religion. I is always something that makes me feel really uncomfortable. I'm just like, why? This doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and of all the things, like there are so many other things we could be getting mad about, like, but who someone loves just doesn't. Anyway, So I agree with you, and I think it's amazing that you were able to do both things in love. You were able to protect your brother in love, and you were able to speak to Betty in a way that didn't make her feel like you were like, well, F you and everything you believe in.
And you know what Betty called me the other day?
She did?
Because she
on,
did. Because I paid her, and I must have overpaid her. And then she said, you overpaid me.
If she wasn't a Christian, she would have done
I
that.
know. I said, you know what? Look at God. Look at God. It's still in motion.
That God's still in motion, protecting me, even though I'm not a Christian.
You don't give that money to Nisha. Oh, but you know what I also did tell Betty? I said, Betty, just so you know all the people that I put you on to, like who you're working for, they're gay as fuck.
Now you're telling her everybody's gay.
I mean, hey,
everybody's gay.
I did. I said
that's fine, but everybody's gay.
I was like, I just hope you know, like everyone's gay.
I wish well everyone's gay.
Good luck sanctifying everyone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now she can make her own decision.
Betty had guys to see all the vibrators and weird shit I have in that drawer. I don't know how she thought she was working for, who she thought she was working for over here.
That's why she didn't talk to you. She was hoping that she could just keep in her lane.
She's got a drawer too.
Right.
Okay.
Jesus didn't say nothing about vibrators.
Look, Betty might have a whole gun and she might have weapons, okay? Because she was living the thug life.
I could kind of see that.
Right?
She looks like her, like she's kind of like stone cold. I can kind of see her. She was wearing those long skirts. I could see her being like a little. I'm kind of scared of her.
I mean,
if I would come to your house, I'd be like, hi. I'm like, okay, well, never mind, Betty. I guess we're not going to be cool.
Oh my God. Anyway,
that's my thing with religion. It's just so black or white. I was seeing a clip for somebody's show, and they were like, the guy was like, I'm a God-fearing man. I'm a Aquarius, and she's like, no, which one is it?
Oh,
I was like, well, you can't be both. Like, it's just so like. This is this and this is that. Yeah. You can't be gay and you can't eat shrimp. I don't know. I just made that up. But you know what I mean? It's just like humans.
Very boxed in.
Yes, humans are so multifaceted. It's just like impossible for us all to live in these like sectors and then there's like the need to protect it. And if you get outside of this, then you're wrong. Yeah. And like that, it creates so much violence, like just trying to defend this thing because for no fucking reason, because I don't really care who you have. I don't care who you love, And in reality, it doesn't stop my show. Yeah. But like the belief that I can't work for you or I can't coexist with you if you do X, Y, and Z, it just seems so it seems unfair.
It's unfair, and it's also you do yourself a disservice by not getting to know different people other than yourself and other people from other walks of life, because I feel like I meet such cool people all the time. Like, it's so amazing. I was able to go to this event that I probably would have never been to had I not met. It was like a snowball effect. Like, I met this one person, they invited me, I ended up going. It was the next night, and I was like, it was like a treasure trove of people. Normally when I go into an event, I know what everybody does. I'm like, okay, you sing, you podcast, you produce, you are a songwriter. Like, I'm usually like within the scope of, okay, you're all in entertainment. This particular room, I had no idea what anybody did. I just knew that there was a lot of money in the room, but I didn't know what anybody did. So there were some people who were in like affordable housing, real estate. There were some people who were in banking. And I just was like, well, how did you get into that? You know? So for me, it was just so cool. And I felt so enriched. Like I left, and normally I feel drained leaving from events and things like that, but this time I was just very excited to be able to just meet new people from different walks of life. And I know that's not religious, but it's just an example of you never know who.
But I feel
meet.
like it is, right? I feel like the divinity lives in being open, because like if you are able to flow freely, that's you kind of being able to flow with God, you know, like, but if there's so many rules about like what God looks like or how people show up in this like space, you're kind of, you make judgments and you put up walls like, are you gay? No, I'm cool. Oh, you do, you know what I mean? Oh, you do tarot? Oh, I'm cool. But like, I think the true essence of God is the flow. And like, I think people don't pay enough attention to that. Like you go around people and you feel drained, or you're like, I just wasted a whole fucking 4 hours talking about nothing.
Yeah.
Or like you come around strangers and you're laughing and you're getting enlightened, and you leave feeling energized. And like, that's your intuition telling you to continue here, you know? And just like you said, like you go to this party, you meet this one person, then you say, fuck it, I'm going to go hang out with this random person the next day. Like,
girl, I went out 2 nights in a row. I couldn't believe myself.
Yeah,
I was like,
strangers.
Who am I?
Right. But we're so conditioned to go against that. Like even me and Erica became friends because like God was like, hey, go to the bar and meet this bitch. But like that is not necessarily how it would generally like. We had to be open enough to kind of just like follow that divine calling, which is our intuition. Yeah. But like I think religion sometimes conflicts with that divine calling, which is your intuition, to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go with these strangers. Yeah. You know, they seem interesting. You know, and like people kind of limit themselves and like the experiences and the people that they could have just from being like open to following your gut instinct, which is really your direct.
It's never wrong.
The direct source to God.
Yeah, like our source. Yeah.
I think actually, now that we're talking about this, it does go back and apply to when I was younger, because I had a purity ring, and that was all anybody wanted to talk about after I was on Idol, because somebody asked me about it and I just said, oh, it's my purity ring, and then it just took off.
But you had a purity ring before you were on Idol. Purity ring is you, because I don't, it's just like you're a virgin. Is that like you saying I'm a virgin, or I'm waiting?
I'm waiting to wait. Well, I'm making the commitment to wait until marriage.
Got it.
That was what it was. What I took it as.
And you do it with like a group of other girls too, right?
It was around the same time. I didn't do it with them. It was just between me and my parents.
Okay.
Was that a conversation that you brought up, or was something that I'm always curious, like,
honestly, I don't remember.
You don't? I was wondering if it was like something your parents were like, hey, this is an option you should do, or you're like,
it kind of it coincided with
she's about to be famous.
No, because
she's about to go to Hollywood. We gotta do something.
I was 13 when we had that conversation, and I was going to a private Christian school as well, and so it kind of coincided with our health talk, like how you're going to become a woman, and that whole like you're going to get your period soon, and and all.
So your parents did have the talks, or was it just one? I'm curious, like, because you know it's always so different with parents, especially now, like. Some parents don't have the talk at all. Some parents have one talk and they're like, okay, we did it. We're done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were never sheltered, at least in my home. Like the school, all the kids had different experiences. But I mean, I knew what sex was. I knew all that stuff like that. It wasn't like that. It was more like, hey, we got you this ring, and, you know, to wait until you're married. And at the time, growing up in the school, it made sense.
Everybody was doing it.
Yeah, it made sense to me. And I was like, okay. And I also wasn't the type of person who was very curious in that way anyway. I think I was curious about what it felt like, but I wasn't curious enough to do it, if that makes sense. I was just like, I'm too scared. And also I was focused on music. I was not thinking about anything like that.
And you got this nice ring. Why are you gonna fuck
I was
up?
like, I'm good. I'm great. But going back to what I was saying on the part of how it kind of like seeped into my identity, because everybody that was all they wanted to talk about. And then like once I was in a relationship, that was all they wanted to talk about. And
Did you take her purity ring off?
Yeah, or like this person took her virginity. I'm like, y'all don't know that. First of all, second, I'm not gonna tell you that. Right. Third, like it just became this huge thing. And I think as a young woman trying to navigate her 20s as well as trying to navigate who I am in the public eye, I think it played a lot into my decision making on like the type of music that I allowed myself to do, but also that I was allowed to do. I had the box like, no, you're here.
No secular music.
Yeah, well, not even that. Because I didn't do gospel music or anything like that.
Right, that's just non-gospel secular.
Yeah, I just mean like I couldn't go out like R&B. Like my third album was way more R&B, way more sensual. I was 25. I was like really coming into my womanhood, and I think it was one of my best albums, to be honest. But from the outside looking in, people were like, "What is this? This doesn't make sense." And I'm like, but it does make sense.
Like, this is not you. Like, how you gonna tell me?
How do you know who I am?
Right.
Like,
I'm a woman.
Exactly. And so now I feel like at this point in my life, I'm just at the point where I'm just like, I'm unapologetic with it, if that makes sense. Like, you're going to get what you get. I've always 100% been myself. I've never tried to hide like my goofiness or anything like that. Romantically, in romantic relationships, is a little bit different because the mental space is different there. But in terms of like who I am with people, this is what you get. I'm just gonna chill with you and we're gonna sit and have a good time, and we might talk about something deep. Hopefully we'll talk about something deep because I like to talk about deep things. But I always have this tattoo right here is,
I like that.
Thank you. My angel wings is a reminder to just keep my wings out for other people, like when I'm out, just to be aware that other people have needs. You never know what they're going through, and I always have that moment where I'm like, okay, I gotta recharge. It takes me a second. Like the Grammys, you won't see me for like 5 weeks after that. I'm like, okay, it's too much.
Energetically,
it's a lot.
Yeah, people don't recognize when you're a public figure in ways, and you're talking to people, and you're out, and you're traveling. It wears on your energy levels. Yeah, it's so funny. This is like, I was in New York and I was having a conversation. We were like playing a game, and I don't even know why this came up, but like Holly, not Barry, Holly, the singer,
Hallie
Chloe. Which one's not Ariel?
Halle Bailey.
Chloe Bailey.
Yeah.
And it was with another woman, and she got, first of all, I was in New York, she got super aggressive, and I was like, whoa. And she's like, yeah, she's trying to be a sex symbol, she's patting her pussy on stage, and like, she just needs to figure out like her music, like her fans aren't fucking with it, and I was like, okay. Whoa,
that's a lot.
I was like, okay, first of all, okay, like I was just like,
did she hurt your feelings?
I don't know.
What did Chloe? Not you. I'm like, what did Chloe do to her?
Girl, me and this girl were like, cool, and then she started talking. I was like, do you hate me? And I was like, I just wanted to clarify, like, I haven't heard the album, but I was like, as a woman, I recognize that like being a public figure and being like 20 to 25. There's a huge
transformation that
happens. And I was like, and we may not know what the fuck she's going through, except for the fact that I'm a woman, and between 20 and 25, a bitch was doing some things.
Yeah.
Bitch was exploring, scratching the surface. I just peeled the bitch back, but I was just like, how come we just don't give her space to do that? Like, why are we even having this conversation? And she's like, well, if you're an artist and you show up and like, if your fans are telling you, this is what it was. Seems like she's trying too hard to be like the other girls who have like fake asses, and like there was this whole conversation. And I was like, but we don't know that.
Yeah,
like we don't know who she's trying to be. She might be just trying to figure it out. She might be trying to be herself on Monday. Yep. Like, and it was just like, it was so interesting. And she got really like passionate about this conversation, and they're like, basically it was just like, I'm not being realistic, because like the fans like are being real with her about what they want and what she's giving them.
What, is she work for the fans?
Yes, that's what they were saying, basically. And I was like, but
it's
like,
definitely topsy-turvy now with like a social media and everything like that.
But I was just
I'm kind of a little backwards.
But I was like, but she's the artist, and like that's the thing about art. Like, you don't define it. It evolves, And I was just like, damn, like even as black women, this is another black woman we were having this conversation like with, and I was just like, you as a black woman, you're not even giving her the space to openly explore this same thing that maybe you actually experienced too, and like, because she's an artist, or because she's like, you know what I mean, because you don't like it, or because this person said it's not what she's supposed to be doing, or she doesn't, to you it doesn't look comfortable. Like, she might be very comfortable popping that pussy, she looked comfortable to me, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like, I can't imagine, even for you, you know, and like, this is right now we're having this conversation, and there's even like thinking of like the things that people were able to get away with asking you about your virginity when you're 20 years old, like
yes, and younger,
and younger. It's like why would it be okay for this grown ass person to be asking a child about her virginity publicly, and nobody said shit? And it's like, you know.
There's a weird fascination with that. It happened with Britney Spears. It's happened with a lot of artists. And like, now that I'm older and in my 30s, I look back on a lot of the things that happened or were allowed in the media or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck? What?
Like, as a mother, like, can you imagine someone interviewing your daughter asking her about that? And I'd be like, bitch, if you don't get, like, who are you talking to?
You can step, please. Go over here. Like, it's been interesting to go back. Because when you start healing yourself, you have to really go back to a lot of things that I'm really good at compartmentalizing. I'm really good at it. And I think because of the industry that I'm in and what I have to do and how things were then, I think I really just had to be able to do that and learn that skill. I'm working on not being as good at it because something can happen and I can just be like, all right.
Put it away.
Gotta keep going. Gotta keep moving.
Yeah, because, okay, the show must go on, essentially. Like, go. And so in this process of the last few years, and having kids also makes you really look, too. If you're aware enough to do the looking. If not, you just continue to do what you're doing. But having my son has really shaken me to my core. Like, oh. Like, why am I triggered by this? Because he's not doing anything wrong. Why am I triggered? Like, so I've had to do a lot of work, but it's also led back into my career and how everything started and just different experiences that I had that I've kind of like packed away in a box. But really, a lot of those things, you know, because your body remembers. The body keeps score. It remembers. And it's just like, okay, I'll deal with that. I'm not ready to deal with this one. That one can stay for a second, but let's open this box
This
today.
one looks small.
This one looks manageable. This one looks like I can work through it. So I'm really going through a lot of those things. You know, when I was doing Idol, while my proverbial star was rising, I had 4 people die while I was on the show.
Wow.
My best friend, my best friend passed away the week I went there for Hollywood Week.
Oh my God.
And it was just like, a lot of people don't know that side, but that's because
we're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, well, it's not even that you're not allowed to, but people don't want to hear excuses from artists, right? They don't want to hear that
that life is lifing.
Right. Yeah, that maybe now because we have social media and the struggle and all that stuff and being able to share that, but then it was like, well, you get to do this. How could you even be
complaining,
sad?
Right.
Like, even if somebody passes away, like, well, what do you have to complain about? What do you have to be sad about? And so there's a lot of stuff that I'm like looking back at, like, I really should have been able to deal with that, but I just wasn't. And I wasn't equipped with the tools either that I have now. So there's a lot of moving parts, and you were like, let's go through your career, and I was like, I don't know where to start really. There's just a lot of things that have happened and have gone on, and I've learned so many things, and I'm grateful. I wouldn't redo my 20s for anything, and you couldn't pay me. You couldn't pay me. I don't want to go back. As soon as I turned 30, I was like, yes. And not only because it wasn't that I instantly felt comfortable or better in this space, but I felt like for me personally, that 30, people finally would start listening to me as an adult. I'm stuck in a lot of people's minds still as a 17, 18-year-old girl. And so for me to do something, some people, it's like almost shock value when I do something because that's who I am in their mind. And so that's been my thing with this new music, is trying to match and like kind of not bridge the gap, but like be able to evolve and be who I am now without them being like, well, this seems like a left turn, you know?
Right.
But it's taken me some time to be able to do that. And now I'm just at the point where I'm like, this music is just good. It's just good. It doesn't have a thing. I couldn't really put it in a genre. It's just good music. And that's all I want to do, is I want to make good music, sing my face off, and make people feel, you know? I feel like we're really distracted by a lot of stuff right now. Everything is just distracting. There's nothing that is going, hey, you should probably just feel this right now in this moment. And so that's what I want to do when I'm on stage. You know, when I'm on stage, everything goes like this. Everything makes sense. I know that I'm in my purpose and my calling when I'm on stage with a microphone in my hand, looking directly at that person standing there and singing to them. Like, that's where I need to be.
Well, I'm excited to hear the music.
Thank you.
And it's true, like people will try to hold you hostage to a time in your life, and you are not Jordin Sparks, 17-year-old Jordin Sparks. You are Jordin the woman, Jordin the mom, Jordin the wife, the sexual and sensual being. And like even saying Jordin Sparks and sexual being, people might be like, oh no,
like, guess what? She has a kid. She had sex.
oh my God, did
You know
she?
how they
Maybe
get
not.
here, right?
Maybe not.
Maybe she did.
Mary Immaculate?
Right?
No way she did. I can't even see it. No, but like people do that, and I can only imagine what kind of, I guess, what kind of unpacking you've had to do to kind of like say, you know what, this is the fuck I am. This is it. This is it. I'm sure the journey is still going. And
it's definitely ongoing.
the release of music is probably, I mean, I know for us, like talking has been our medicine in standing in our truth. Even the book, even as a push further towards that truth, and yours is through music.
Yeah, that's my catharsis. Like I can get it out through music, because I want to do stuff like this as well, which is why I wanted to come do the podcast, because I'm like, I want people to be able to hear from me just in a different way, on a different platform, in a safe space for women, by women. I always want to be able to be a part of stuff like that, so I'm grateful. Thank you guys for having me on. So I'm doing more. I'm trying to do more of that, more of the speaking part, because for a long time the speaking part, not that it made me nervous, but it was always it just became something so much bigger than it needed to be.
Well, you're afraid to talk. You're like, dude, I'm gonna say one thing, and you're like totally misconstrue what I'm saying. Yeah.
But if you don't, then people will write your story for you.
Anyway, exactly. Which is why the music, I've always written music. I've written poetry since I was a young kid. But it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I realized that music is just poetry with some instrumentation behind it. Yeah. So I've always been writing, but now I've been writing so much, and so every song you're going to hear on this new album is directly from a thought that I had, or inspired by, or directly related to. And then now I'm going to be able to share that. So it's definitely a story. It's just little chapters, but it's so good. It's so good. When it comes out, I'm coming back, and we'll just play.
Please
we
do. I'm like, can you send it to us?
Play it. Yes. Yeah. No, I can send
Is
it
it coming out this year?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so crazy, because before you came, I was telling Papa, I'm like, Jordin Sparks is coming. He was like, that's my girl. He
was at the studio with us.
He was like, her and her husband are so cool. He's like, she needs to release that music though. She's playing. She's not releasing that music. I was like, oh, she has some music she's playing with. He was like, yeah. I was like, why? He's like, ask her. I was like, okay.
Ask her. I'm not trying to play. I want to put out the music. It's just people. How do I word this? It's difficult to go from. I feel like people don't understand how much it takes to be an independent artist, especially going from being signed from a major label. I was there. I had the whole building behind me. There was the marketing team, there was the A&R, there was the touring. Everybody was in-house. Now, as an independent artist, I have to find those people to help me, and I have to make sure that they believe in what I'm doing and believe in the project. I could hire anyone, but if they don't believe in what I'm doing, or they don't have the but the correct skill to be able to help me with that, then there's no point. And then I just end up back at ground zero again. So I'm now at the position, right now I'm talking to this company / label, but it would be more of a partnership with us. So that would mean that I would retain most of the ownership of my stuff. I have creative control. So we're working on those different things, because I'm just like, I could go back to a major label, but then all this freedom that I've accrued and I've earned and I've received and gotten is just going to be taken away. And so I'm like, I don't know if I really want to sacrifice that.
You don't, and you won't.
I don't know. I can't.
You come too far.
Yeah. And I'm working on it. We have to figure out the terms so that we can just go, because the music's already done. The hard part is done.
Well, we will light some candles and set some
Please.
intentions for
Definitely.
you.
I feel like once you speak it, though, I think like women, I always say like women are witches. Like we're so impeccable with our word. When you say something and you put it into the ether, you have the power to make it come to fruition.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not even worried. Like, I know it's coming, and I know it's going to happen perfectly for you, and I know it's going to be in alignment, because it's like the moment you choose yourself, your road opens up for you. And like, I don't know if for women listening to this who maybe, you know, grew up in just women.
Just women.
Just born, you know, as a woman.
You were just born.
If you're just born, you were a woman.
You're a cisgendered woman.
Seriously, like, and you've struggled because maybe your family expects you to do X, Y, and Z, or maybe religion has played a part, or maybe the guy that you date said this is how you should show up. Like, what are three words of advice would you would give to someone struggling to tap into their freedom and their inner free spirit? What are three tools or three things that you've like have helped you come out of that and like step fully into who you are and like embrace it and say, I'm not going to do this. This is who I am. And this is what I'm going to do.
Oh man. Is it three separate thoughts?
You
or
would
like,
give her three.
Words?
I don't know. I just heard.
See, I'm like, wait.
Is it an exercise?
Well,
What'd you do, girl?
I mean, it's hard to say exactly because everybody's journey is their own. So I'll preface
Was it mushrooms?
I'll preface it with that.
Jordan is, if you're watching on YouTube, Jordan's wearing a mushroom shirt.
I think mushrooms
the
are
door.
the guide.
Take the trip, guys.
Yes, it's
Take
like
it.
a portal to yourself.
Yes.
So that's why I'm asking.
Well, and connected to everything else. Okay, so let me stay on track.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. I there's so many thoughts that go on in my head that I'm just like, okay. I think for me, one major thing, we were talking about it earlier, is our intuition. I think when we have been pushed or gaslit or in certain situations where you can't question, you start to lose the connection with that intuition and what your gut is telling you. And I had lots of experiences leading up to where I am now, to where when I look back on it, I'm like, my intuition was right the whole time. Like, I just got goosebumps. Like, it was right. And I think that would be a major one, is really trying to reconnect with your gut feeling and with that intuition and that little voice that's like, maybe not. Or
it's the reconnection, but it's also sometimes that gut feeling and that voice is telling you something that's the harder road.
Yep. Yeah.
And so you are like,
is that a gut feeling or am I tripping?
I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Like,
Everybody said to do this.
Yeah, you know, and so it's like trusting that the harder road is going to eventually lead you to the easier road.
Yeah.
And making that choice, because I mean, I know how impeccable my intuition is, and I still go against it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect.
No, I know, but I think women, it's literally, I think that we were masterfully created to really master this part of ourselves. Yeah. I'm not saying that men don't have intuition, because they do, but we have some different shit over here.
Yeah. Oh,
and,
we're creators. We birth.
And so I think
we're the portal to God.
You know, we were talking about this with, I can't remember her name, but just how my nervous system always tells me first.
Yes.
Like, literally, my nervous system will tell me, and then my mind will confuse me. Like, my body will be like, and my mind will be like, just relax.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but my stomach hurts.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I'm holding my breath. My chest is tight.
Yeah.
All of those things are signs. All of them are. So I guess it's reconnecting with your body too, to be able to like understand what those things mean for yourself. Because I have always been a nervous person. My husband, he is always just like, I don't understand why you're so nervous. And I'm like, it just happens, okay? Like, I don't know. But my nervous system, which I've learned for the last however many years it's been, since, okay, if we go with Idol, it's been 16 years. My nervous system has been on the fritz for the last 16 years of my life. And it hasn't ever been able to receive a break of being out of fight or flight mode, because I've been constantly touring, constantly traveling, working, having to be on public eye, having to think quick on my feet. Like, so my nervous system is like,
don't say the wrong thing.
It's always like this. And so when I'm about to perform, my hands I get clammy, I get nervous, I start to breathe really fast, and I have to like pray to bring myself back down and meditate. And he just doesn't understand. I'm like, it's just a reaction that I have before I do it. I also think it's a good thing, because I feel like if I'm not nervous, I I might have to do a reevaluation, like a self-check, like, do I really like what I'm doing? You know, because it's exciting and it makes me nervous. But I think the reconnection there, I think, is really important. Also, this phrase that I don't remember who told it to me, but it was in my mid-20s, and somebody was like, if it's not a fuck yeah, it's a no.
I like that.
Is that today's affirmation?
I think if it's not a fuck yeah, it's a no.
I love that.
Like, yeah.
Well, because
radical yeses.
Yeah. Well, and that also goes with your gut and your intuition. When you have a decision to make, if you're just like, well, no, it's a no. It's just a no. And that's not to say that to not say yes to certain things. If you have opportunity, you want to say yes, you always have the opportunity to say no again and to change your mind. And I think the other thing as well, it was really important from my relationship that I had prior to meeting my husband, that in between space, I literally cut dating and romantic anything out of my life. I was celibate for 1.5 years. I just focused on myself. And I've always been a person who likes to be alone. I'm not lonely. I love being alone. Like, I enjoy my own company. And I think for a lot of people, not just women, men too, a lot of people don't know how to be alone. And I think that that's a really big thing for people's growth, because if you can be alone, you know what you need, you know how to treat yourself, what makes you happy, you know how to recharge, how much sleep you need. You know, there's just so many different things that you can't get with somebody else because they're not telling you, you're telling you.
Right. And
so I think that is also important. So I would say your gut feeling, reconnecting with that. If it's not a fuck yeah, it's a no. And also being able to be alone with yourself. I think that's really helped me catapult myself into where I am now, because I really do, like I said, my 17-year-old self, it's night and day. The core is still there. I'm still that goofy, quirky, smiley girl that walked into the audition room, but there's just more of a sense of knowing and more groundedness that I have that I did not have before, just being able to do that work.
After you took that time off and like from dating, and you like,
it was amazing,
retreated, and you're like, hold on, I need a minute. How did you meet your now husband, and like, how did you know it was different?
I'm sad he's not here, because I'd totally look at him right now and be like, your turn to tell the story. So, okay, let me try and make this as short as possible. Basically, I had a charity for 10 years, and I would follow the Super Bowl to each city. And we would come in early in the week and shine a light on organizations that were making a difference in the city before all like the major parties would come in. And we would give them media and press if they needed it or if they wanted it. Sometimes we would just go visit and they didn't want anything, but it was basically up to them. And my 10th year was 2017. The Super Bowl was in Houston, and we went to a few different organizations, and the last one we went to was his parents. He wasn't there. He lived in Dallas at the time, so he wasn't even there. And I was excited because my mom and his mom had hit it off. And my mom's not really the type of person who's like, oh, no friends. She's like, I'm good. I've got my people. And they hit it off. So I was very excited, and I loved what they were doing. It's called the Forge for Families. It's in the 3rd Ward in Houston. It's basically a safe haven for kids after school. They've got summer programs and different things like that. And it's really amazing. But I met his mom and his dad and his brother, and they were like, this is our family. And so it was a picture of their family. Now I know that he was like 18 years old and like young, but I didn't know the difference. I was like, oh, beautiful family. So we leave. And, when I tell you that, like, I had PTSD from the relationship that I had been in prior, and so my mom had tried to, I know her intentions were pure, but the trigger, that, like, the fact that I would freak out, like, I was like, I'm not ready for this. Like, I cannot, please don't give people my number, and please don't have them send me flowers. Like, I don't want this. Like, I can't even handle it. And so I was kind of at that point in my life. I cut everything off. I wasn't comfortable even being in a room by myself with a man. Like, I just was like, this is too much. And so a month goes by, we leave, yay, like, have a good time, we leave. A month goes by, my mom's like, hey, do you mind if Bridget, that's his mom's name, if she connects you with her son, Dana. He's not the one that you met. But he wants to model. He's planning on modeling, and he has a trip out in LA, and she wants you to talk to him about Hollywood.
This is the most mom shit I've ever heard. This is like, my friend's son is going to call you. He'll be in LA. Yep. Hang out with him.
Yep.
Tell him about Hollywood. Like, okay, so welcome to Hollywood.
Welcome. But I mean, that's what they had me, not had me do, but the reason why I ended up staying so long at their organization was they had some teenage girls who just wanted to ask me questions about my life. And so I was like, you guys, a lot of what you see is, photo shoots and people are calling paparazzi, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, there's a lot of stuff that you have to like really discern. So she was overhearing me say that, and she wanted me to do the same thing. And, I didn't find out till later that she really wanted me to talk about moving to LA, doing anything there, right? Completely judge me wrong on that, because I'm always like, go, you can always go back home.
Hollywood is the devil. Tell him so.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, that was the first time I was okay with somebody having my number. And I was like, all right, because I had met his mom, and I was like, if he tries to pull anything, I can just go to her and be like, I'm not comfortable with this. So my mom and his mom put us on a group chat. And so we all end up in the same thing. And he's like, I'm going to message you on another one. So we hopped out of that one and we started talking, and we just never stopped. We never stopped talking, but it was strictly platonic. And it was just really cool to talk to somebody who didn't want anything from me. He didn't know about anything because he was really heavily into basketball. He played AAU, like the competitive stuff, when he was a kid, and then he played in college. And so he knew that I won Idol, and he knew no air. That's all. So he didn't know about all the other the craziness that the media likes to put out there. And so I was just grateful to be like, hi, this is who I am. And I felt safe also because I told him, I was like, I'm not FaceTiming you, and I'm not calling you on the phone. I was like, this is going to be text only. That's
straightforward.
This is where we live.
Yeah. I'm like, this is where we're at. And so we talked a lot, and it was really cool. And he was very nice. I was very intrigued by the way he thought. I loved that he had been single for 7 years. Like, so it's just, there had been a lot of things, but there was nothing. Because at one point he was like, well, you're just a bougie, whatever he said, light skinned, curly haired girl. I said, yeah, we are a green-eyed demon. So we both agree on this.
Not a green-eyed demon.
So we agree. And he ended up flying out for the trip that he had planned. And it was Easter weekend. My brother was driving in from Phoenix. So I was like, why don't you stop by? It was like 10 o'clock at night. But I knew my brother was coming.
You went from text to stop by at 10 o'clock at night, girl.
Right. Well, because he landed and was like, my Airbnb, I just have to wait for it or something. I can't remember what it was. But I was like, okay, my brother's on his way. You can come over. It's fine. So he comes over, and I had 2 dogs at the time. And I open the door, and the dogs run to him. So he bends over to pet the dogs. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a good sign because they love him already. Just as a person, it wasn't until our eyes locked that I was like, oh, shit.
Oh, really?
Because I had seen his pictures. There was nothing, nothing. I just was like, oh, he's a nice looking dude, But there was nothing until that moment that our eyes locked, and we both knew we were in trouble.
Really? As soon as he got to the house, you looked at me like, oh, shit.
I was like, this is not this. Like, I'm not looking for this, He literally swept me off my feet. And it's crazy because I'm like, he literally showed up at my door.
Wow.
Literally from your mom. That's like the most ideal situation.
Mamas know best.
They do. Yeah, but they didn't want, it's crazy because they didn't want us to date. That was never the intention. And I remember going back to visit with him, and his mom was like, I wanted you to talk him out of moving there.
And now he's in love.
And I was like, I'm sorry. I think not really, but so it went by really fast. So we started talking in March. We met in April. We got married in July.
Wow.
And found out DJ was coming end of August.
Whoa.
2 days after he moved here.
Whoa, wait. You met him in April? March. He moved in June?
I guess not. He moved in
basically between
August.
April and August, you had a baby. You got pregnant.
I got pregnant after we got married.
And you got married. Not only you got engaged, you got married.
We got married in Hawaii. Got married in Maui.
Wait, how? Wait, hold on.
I know. See, but it's like, but it's true. Like people always try to take you out of that, but it's like when you know, you know.
Were your parents tripping? Were they like, whoa, whoa, whoa?
Oh,
what?
I didn't tell anybody.
You got married without telling anyone?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Because the way I have always been, I've never wanted a big wedding. Like, my best friend was born a day before me. She knew exactly what she wanted. She knew the dress, the style, all of that stuff. And I was just like, I never wanted that. And then once I became in public eye and a public figure, I'm always going to huge events, and I never really get to enjoy them because there's just so much going on. And I was like, I don't want to do that for my wedding.
Right.
So I had always imagined myself either going to the courthouse or just something really, really small. And so we went on this trip with our friends, and we went to Hawaii, and we had already been talking about it. I don't remember.
Were you guys already engaged at this point?
No.
Oh, no.
You just went on a random trip, not with no intention of getting married.
Well, we had talked about it.
Okay.
I was like, if we're gonna do it, why don't we do it here in Hawaii? Nobody's ever going to expect to see us at the courthouse there, and there shouldn't be paparazzi in Hawaii. Like,
Right.
Of all the places, it was closed. When
Whoa.
we got there, it was closed. And so my best friend had gotten ordained before she came over. So we're in the water, and I look at him, and I'm like, do you want to do it right now? Like, let's just do it right now. And he was like, okay. And so my friend was like, do you? And I was like, yep. And she asked him, said, yep. We kissed in the water, and that was the one paparazzi shot.
They
that
got
they
it.
got. But they had no idea that's what it was.
That was actually the
Oh
wedding.
my God.
And so we got married there. We did the paperwork and stuff when we got back, but that's where we got married. And then, a month and some change later, he had moved his stuff down, and he moved into the house out here, which is 2 minutes up the road, by the way.
Wow.
And then 2 days later, I was like, I feel weird. I should just go check. And yeah.
Wow.
Whoa.
Were you?
Poor
were you?
guy.
Were you?
DJ was supposed to be here.
Were you
honey.
excited? Were you scared? Were you
I
ready?
was terrified.
Okay.
Mostly because of him, because I just was like, he just moved here. Like, he just uprooted his life, and now I have to tell him that we're expecting.
Well, you
like,
guys already got married. Y'all were already doing. You guys were doing the
yeah,
damn thing.
but still, it was like and neither of us were expecting it, and so it was just like, holy shit, like, what is going on? So poor guy. I look back on it, he didn't even have time to because I had a whole moment. I was out of there because I just wasn't ready, and we had been talking. I don't think you're ever ready for kids, to be honest. You're just not. But we've been talking like, okay, yeah, like in 2 years we'll start trying and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cool, that sounds great. Nope. God was like, now, right now. And so it went really fast, but we're going on our 6th year.
Wow.
So in July, it'll be our 6th year anniversary.
Oh, and how old is your son?
5.
How was your pregnancy?
Great. My pregnancy was awesome. It was the after part that I'm like, I don't want to do that again.
What, like
How was birth?
Easy.
Oh, okay.
Not
Did you,
easy.
did you have a natural birth?
Let
or?
me not say easy, because I don't want people to get I don't want people to get mad at me. It wasn't easy.
It can't be easy.
It was definitely challenging. I did natural water birth.
At the
which was
hospital or at
awesome.
home?
I did at a birthing center.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
and they were amazing because they were like, hey, if anything goes wrong, we will go with you to the hospital, like if there was an emergency C-section or something. But I didn't have to do that. Dana caught him. It was really cool. It was a really cool moment. I felt like I could do anything after that. I was sitting in the bathtub like, look at this. I was looking at the umbilical cord like, oh my God, this is crazy. And I was like, I could lift a truck. Like, I'm
a superhero.
Yeah, I felt like I could do anything after that. And DJ was a little perfect baby. He came out, eyes open, ready. Just,
He's like, I've been waiting.
There
Been
you
waiting
are.
for y'all.
Wow.
he was like, oh yeah, okay, I chose right. You know what I mean? Like, he was just looking at us like, okay, all right. But yeah, my pregnancy was great. I didn't have any morning sickness. Everything was pretty much smooth sailing. 3rd trimester, he kind of sat a little bit on my sciatic nerve, but other than that, like, it was great. It was the mental stuff after that I was just like, I can't do this again. I didn't want to put myself through that again.
Did you have
I didn't have postpartum. I didn't have postpartum depression. I definitely had the baby blues for like 3 weeks where I could not keep my emotions together. I wept at everything. Everything. But it was like a deep weeping. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm a little teary. I would just cry and cry and cry. And that was really tough, but also just trying to navigate like, okay, you have to dedicate your whole life to this person who needs you at the moment. And as women, we're the default parent because they have to eat from us. They need to be near us. We're the ones that are getting up. Like, it just becomes a lot and it's overwhelming. And I'm one of those people who's like all or nothing. So like, I'm 100% all in with my husband. So to make that split of like,
well, you guys had just also kind of started your relationship in ways,
Yep.
and then introducing a whole life into the relationship.
So we're still learning each other, still love each other, obviously, but we're still learning each other, our quirks and all those things. And now we have DJ that's in the picture, and now we have to learn how to parent together as people who are still learning
each other.
Right. So it was just a lot. And I just know personally for myself, I had to make that split between my husband and DJ and then whatever was left for me. And I know that if I bring another into this world, there's not going to be anything left for me because I know how I am. I know how I am.
Pie.
Those kids are going to get everything. And then my husband's going to get
the rest.
Yes.
Well,
which it should be husband first and then kids so they can see. But I'm working on it. I don't think we ever figure out the balance of anything. But I just know that there wouldn't be anything left for me. And then I know I would spiral because I just know myself.
Well, yes. Well, that's the thing, is that knowing yourself.
Yeah.
I'm curious because you guys went into this relationship rather quickly and got married and had the baby, and you said that you had PTSD from your last relationship. Like, you know, I was talking to my mom about this the other day because she was like, you know, when you find the right relationship, they will heal the parts of you that
We're
crushed before. Like, they won't
trigger
those same feelings. They will make sure that you feel safe in those things.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's so sweet. I'm gonna cry.
And you know, I almost cried because I was like, I've never had that.
Oh no!
That's how you know.
Okay, we're gonna change that.
But I've had moments of it, and then
Yeah.
it always comes crashing fucking down.
Yeah.
What were some of those things that he was able to heal from, like, your PTSD? We have a chapter in our book. It's called Post-Traumatic Baby Daddy Disorder.
Oh, okay.
And I realized that your last, relationship wasn't your baby father's child.
But I think it's the same concept.
Your child's father.
Except we had the
Still
kids.
applies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a PTSD that we as women carry from previous relationships, whether or not you have a child. When you have a child with someone, it's a lot more, I think, it penetrates the soul a little deeper. But, there's things that we compartmentalize or hold on to in our bodies and don't even realize, or start judging other people like, oh my God, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to leave me. You're going to hurt me. You're going to cheat on me. You're going to disrespect me. And jumping into a relationship so quickly, but now I guess your spirit knowing that this was right for you. What were some of the things that he was able to kind of heal so quickly? Because you were saying you didn't want to be in a room with a man by yourself.
I didn't. I absolutely didn't. And I think talking to him first without any of the, like, oh, let me see what you look like. There was never any of that. He was never like,
send me a picture.
Yeah.
What you got on right now?
It was strictly just like human to human, which I immediately was just like, okay, this is a really good person. And that obviously helped me lower my guard a little bit because my guard was super high. Again, let me preface that it was a year and a half that I had just taken that out of my life. I was open. Well, no, I was closed. I was close to being set up. I didn't want that. I was open to it being organic. I did not want to be set up by anybody. I didn't want it to be, I was I was specific in what I did want and what I didn't want. And I think that helped because when he showed up, I realized my spirit was like, oh, there you are.
Just checking all the boxes.
Yeah. And I felt safe. Safety was my number one thing because I did not feel safe in my previous relationships, whether it was safe to be myself or like physically safe, like I cannot be in this home safe. I felt safe with him. I knew just from the way that when we hung out, how he treated me, and he was always looking out for me, and then it was continued. It didn't just go away. It wasn't like that initial
courtship.
Yeah, like, oh, well, I'm just going to show you my best self, and then, then we're going to change up, which I had experienced before. It was that sense of safety. It was the no preconceptions of who I was. He allowed me to show him who I was, as opposed to having me on this pedestal, which is, I guess a little unique to just what I do in my industry, because everybody sees me, everybody knows who I am, and they make these assumptions of who they think I am behind closed doors, and it's just not that. I think people would be very surprised if they got to sit down with me for a while or like live with me for a week, like who I am, you know.
I think the concept of putting women on pedestals is very dangerous in general, and I think men really that's their go-to when they want to make a woman feel special, is like, I put you on this pedestal. You put me on this pedestal because at any moment I could be knocked off this pedestal with any of me showing up as human.
Yep.
You know, like I've had men say that, and I'm like, please don't do that. I don't want to be on your fucking pedestal.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want you to worship me. I don't want you to know.
Because as soon as I drop one thing, you're like, oh, you're not
There
perfect.
is a level of worship I want. I think it's just this concept of pedestal where I am higher than every other woman, every other person. Like, no, I am the same. I am just your woman. Like we are meant to be.
Yeah,
like,
you can worship me in that.
Yeah.
In that way, but yeah, I totally get it. That was one of the other things. My previous, one of the relationships I was in, it was almost like he was amazed that I was even in his capacity, like that I was like almost like I was so far out of his league that once I was with him, he just
couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and
God.
he just like didn't know what to do, and he sabotaged at every corner, and then he made me feel like shit, and then because of how he used to treat other women, he didn't know how to treat somebody who was good, and it was just this whole thing. Like, I hope that he's grown since then. Like, I hope so. I always hold the space. I'm not expecting anything, but I'm holding the space that they grow and they learn.
I don't know if you've experienced this too, because I've experienced a relationship like that too, where like the person couldn't believe that they got me.
Yeah.
And it gave me a sense of safety almost. Like, it made me feel like, okay, well, now I know this person won't disrespect me.
Yeah.
Like, I know this person will value me because they can't believe that they have me.
Yeah.
And that's where we fuck up.
Yeah, because they didn't.
Because the fact that you thought you couldn't get me, you don't value yourself.
There's a
Right.
That's a reflection.
Yeah,
of
and inevitably that is going to show up in our relationship and how you treat me.
Yes.
And it always does.
Yep.
Women forget about that, and I think men. We were just talking about this. It's like this idea. If the man hasn't done the work to value himself, then he is going, when he puts you on this pedestal and he looks at you, there is going to be something that happens where he's like, oh my God, I don't deserve this. And then he's going to try and find a flaw in you. And then because he can't imagine that women overall can be this or this, that. And when you don't feel like you're someone's equal or that you deserve them, then like inevitably you're trying to bring them down to where you believe that you exist. And so like, you know, sometimes people like, I think people tell women not to come off too confident or to like, I love my fucking self. I'm the shit.
I love myself.
I look bomb. My body's bomb. Like I can make babies. Like I can cook, you know, like, we're really like told to like take up less space.
Water ourselves
down, you know? And I think for men, if they haven't had the time to really like feel truly like they deserve something of this level, then they start to become really mean. Yeah. It's like,
because they don't know how. They don't know how they got you, but they also don't know how to get themselves out of that space. And I think that's the other thing that what I was attracted to when I met Dana was he had been single for 7 years. He was like, I don't need to do this. Not saying he was celibate, but he wasn't in a committed relationship because he knew himself and because he valued himself, because he had been in one that really messed him up. And he wanted to just live his life and have the best time living his life, you know? And I was like, I respect that, because you knew yourself well enough to just take this road and this journey. He wasn't trying to fill himself up with other things. He knows what his value is. He's an amazing man. Like, he has some incredible ideas. He is, he's so fine. He's so beautiful. I just like look at him and I'm like, oh. But he's beautiful. He's compassionate. The way his mind works is just so intriguing to me. Sometimes I gotta be like, you gotta turn it off for a second. Like, I need a break. I don't want to be talking about this idea at 7 a.m. I'm tired.
What's his sign?
He's a Taurus. My son Born the day before him.
Get
A
two
Taurus.
Tauruses.
Yes. Yes.
Stubborn.
I'm surrounded by bulls.
I know, my daughter too.
Yes, but I appreciate it and I understand it because I'm a goat. So I don't know why I'm a sea goat though. That doesn't make sense because I don't like the water like that. I like it for its purification process and to hydrate and moisturize. I don't want to go in the ocean. I'm good. It's scary.
Only to get married.
Yep. Only I was like right here to my waist in the flamingo floaty. I was good. But yeah, so I really respected that, and that was different than any other relationship I had been in. They had previous relationships. They had come off as though they were confident, but really, when I look at it, I'm like,
Them alpha males, those alpha
You gotta be careful of that
males.
projection.
You really gotta be careful.
really, they were, and I guess the other thing too was that they were also in the industry. I thought that if I was with somebody who did the same thing that I did,
You'd have an understanding.
it would be easy to no. It was almost worse because now everybody knows me. We have all these other people that are looking at me. They spent so much time looking at the other people looking at me
you.
that they weren't looking at me looking at them.
Right. You're like, wait, hold up.
I was like, I'm here looking at you. You are the only person I see. And I'm also, like I said, I'm 100%, like when I'm committed, there's no swaying me.
That's that
There's
Capricorn.
just not. There's nothing, you cannot, there's nothing that anybody can do unless I've made that decision. And so I just didn't get that. I was like, I'm literally here next to you. Like I'm with you, but you're concerned about that dude over there.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's not even over here talking to us. Like he's just looking.
Like you got to know people are gonna look.
Yeah, and I'm like, you do realize that was the other thing. I told Dana because once I'd been through those relationships and I had started going to therapy, I started doing work on myself. That was one of the first things I told him. I said, I am who I am. This is my job. I'm not changing it for anybody. Mm-hmm. I am who I am, and I will be this way if you date me or not. This is my life. People are going to know me. Part of me belongs to the world. That's just how it is. People are going to look at me. People are going to want my attention. People are going to, all these different things. You have to be okay with yourself to be able to deal with this because I'm not changing because I did. Not that I changed. I still did what I did, but I said no to a lot of things to appease
somebody else,
their broken egos.
Yeah. Right.
And I just was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to let you tell me who I can hang out with because we're not possessions. We are not things to be owned. Dana has his female friends. I have my male friends. I think it's completely healthy. And there is nothing wrong with that. Like I'm also not a jealous person. Like until you give me a reason to either be jealous or to question you.
Right.
I'm going to give you my trust. I'm going to hold that you are making the right decisions for yourself and you're respecting me in those spaces. If you show me that you're not, we'll address it then.
Right.
But I think it's very healthy for us to both have our friendships and relationships. And plus, I'm in a male-dominated industry. I'm around men all the time. So this is a treat for me right now. I am surrounded by men all the time. And I really respect Dana for that because he's really been able to just be like, yeah, go ahead, do what you need to do. And he's uplifted me in the process. I've never had somebody support me to the point where literally everything he does is to elevate me. I love you. I love you. I think you're the most amazing person on the planet. But he's always thinking about me. And that's something that I have to work on because I've only had to think about me for a really long time and all of my decisions and things like that. But I can come off very detached sometimes. Not that which is weird because I'm super empathetic and very in tune with my emotions, but I can come off really detached and just like, okay. And
right.
So I have learned for myself to cultivate a better connection there with Dana in that way. I really have to work on that. Like the same excitement that I would want him to show me, I have to do as well. And sometimes after DJ's been all over me all day and I'm touched out, like that's the last thing I want is to just be like,
like, tell me your idea, babe.
Yeah, I'm like, hey,
tell me your idea. You're so smart.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just been it's been interesting. Like I think the ebb and flow of everything. I don't think I'm ever going to find a balance. Everybody always asks me, well, how do you balance? I'm like, I don't.
That question's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like,
that question is crazy.
Don't be human. Here's the blueprint. No, you can't. There's
right.
just some days it's 70-30. Some days it's 100% just DJ. Some days it's 100% just me. Some days it's 100% into Dana. But there really isn't balance. And I think that's the cool thing about life, is the polarity and the duality of everything is, you know, we just kind of, life is happening for us, not to us.
Right. Yes.
And I think that's a lesson too that I had to learn, because sometimes it's like, oh, well, this is just, the situation was so horrible and I can't believe they did that to me. But it wasn't. Looking back, I'm like, that was a protection.
So you wouldn't be in it too long.
I cannot tell you how. I just got goosebumps. I've been protected so much. My angels, my ancestors, God, the source, the creator has been looking out for your girl, okay? Because there have been plenty of times where I wanted it to be a yes so badly, whether it was a relationship or a role or the label or whatever it was. And it was a big fat no or big fat warning sign. And I was completely protected from the aftermath of what happened when I look at it from the outside.
Thinking that it was a no, but it was a reroute.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was a nope. Plot twist. It was a plot twist.
No and.
And here's what you actually deserve and what you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. ... The ellipsis. No. Here's more. This is what you're gonna do. So, I don't know. It's been interesting. It's always going, never ending. I guess it's an ongoing journey of like discovery.
I could sit here and talk to you forever.
I know, me too.
But we can't.
Okay.
But we can,
Not
but we
today,
can't.
anyway.
We can, but we can't.
Okay.
But before we get out of here, two things.
Yes.
I want to play a game with you.
Okay.
It's called Trigger.
Oh, great. Okay.
And it's a game we play with our guests. And basically, I say a word, and you say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Don't overthink it.
Okay. Damn, you know me. I'm gonna be like, wait.
And try to just, you can say more than one word, but
Okay.
try to keep it to one word.
Okay.
Bad habits.
Oh, overeating.
Marriage.
Challenging.
Motherhood.
Also challenging.
Monogamy.
Easy.
Cannabis.
Love it.
Black women.
Love them. Yes.
Purity ring.
I don't have one anymore. I don't have one anymore.
Graduated.
It's gone. Graduated. Yeah.
Religion.
Boxes.
Anal.
I mean, I'm always down to explore. Okay.
Boxers or briefs.
Briefs.
Turn on.
Wait.
What is a turn on?
Oh, what is a turn on? Please, I'm a sapiosexual. Just please stimulate my mind.
Turn off.
Oh fuck. How do I don't know how to word this. Turn off would probably be bad dental oral hygiene.
Ooh, girl.
That's a good one.
Just yeah.
Seems like something I encounter.
Memories were all
often.
triggered now.
Woo. Mushrooms.
Love them.
Hey. Pregnancy.
One and done.
Favorite porn category.
I don't have one.
You watch porn? Mm-mm. Have you ever watched porn?
Yeah, but I'm not like
Looking in for your favorite
yeah.
character.
I don't know. I guess I don't know. I have no idea.
Favorite sex position.
Oh shit. I have one, but I don't know the name of it because it's new.
Just explain it.
Yeah. So the guy is laying down, and then the girl it's almost like reverse cowgirl, but not center. It's
Oh,
just
like one leg. Oh, yeah. That one, like the one leg.
Oh, like one leg on the side?
Like that.
Woo,
It's like
girl.
a scissor, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of get that booty, like,
Yeah. That side booty, yeah.
makes your butt look big.
It's amazing. I'm like, babe, can we do the new one, please? Yeah,
With the reverse one leg cowgirl.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is. But then they can turn too. So they have so he could like get on
This
his
way
side
and
and I'll
this
be on my
side,
side. Yeah.
You can really get in there. Biggest insecurity.
Probably my stomach. My tummy.
Me too, girl. Pregnancy. I think I've always like not loved my stomach, but then after pregnancy, I gained 70 pounds in my pregnancy. I don't know. I know it's crazy. And it's just like it's just never the same.
Yeah.
It's just never the same.
I mean, I appreciate how powerful my body is to have like done that. But I'm like, hey, can you just do me a little favor and stop jiggling so much.
I know. I was like, do I need to
Be
cut?
still.
I was like, do I need to get this cut open and stretched out?
DJ goes like this. He'll like grab it, and I say, "You did that," and he's like, "I did." I say, "Yeah, 'cause my belly was out to here." He's the only person that I let do that. I've been so sensitive about my stomach for such a long time that like anybody touches it, and I'm like, even my husband. I'm trying not to. I'm like, just breathe.
You can do some mirror. You gotta do some mirror work.
Yeah.
Me too, because I go sometimes when I'm like lower weight, then I'm like, okay, it's cute, and then I gain 5 pounds. I'm like, I hate it again, and I'm like, I can't do this to myself. I gotta stop, and I'm not gonna get a tummy tuck. So just shut up, Erica.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No.
If we, surgery for if we need it, but if we were meant to have it, we'd have zippers. I think zippers. Yeah, if we were meant to go all up in there and
it would be easy, right?
Yeah, we already have zippers on our bodies.
Let you out, let you back in.
I'm not mad about not having zippers on my titties. I definitely would cut these open again and do it again.
I don't want zippers there either.
Well, these are the best investment I ever made.
They are beautiful.
Thanks. You're welcome. Dr. Laverson in San Diego. What was it? Threesomes.
No, I don't like to share.
She's selfish. No, I'm just kidding.
I do not like to share.
I feel you, girl.
Last but not least, biggest regret.
Biggest regret. That's actually a really good question, because I don't really regret anything in my life. Well, I do regret yelling at this girl named Kelly when I was in the 5th grade.
Oh my God. You have to be a Cancer somewhere in your chart, girl, because the way you just remembered that.
Kelly, do you hear this?
Kelly from the 5th grade.
I feel
She's
really
sorry.
I will never forget it though, because I'm not really a yeller like that.
Not the 5th grade.
And it was just, I was so irritated, and I yelled so loud in her face, and I told her that no one liked her, and I've never forgotten that. So I'm sorry, Kelly, wherever you're at. I'm I still remember, like, that makes my stomach hurt, like, thinking about it. So yeah, I would say that, and then biggest regret. I don't really have a major one. Like, I don't have any. There's no like regret that was like life changing. If that makes sense. So I don't really have one.
Good.
Yeah.
I think it's best to live life without regrets, or at least lead with.
I mean, because I can't do anything about it now.
You can't change anything.
That was my high school senior quote.
What?
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
I was the early YOLO.
Yeah, come on, let's go. You already have
before
the mentality.
Drake. I was already on YOLO.
In there.
So we usually ask our guests if they have a hori. We have a segment on our
Wait, should we do the tarot first? Wait, tell her so then she can have time to think about it, and then I'll do the tarot, and then we'll do the hori for after.
Okay. So a horror story is a hoe tale, like whether that's with your husband or a previous partner or whatever, something that's either
high on the hoe scale.
High on the hoe scale, little sexy sex story, or maybe something that was like really embarrassing. Like we have one recently that is on. If you're on Patreon, which you should subscribe to Patreon right the fuck now.
Please don't repeat that story.
I'm not going to repeat it. I'm going to make them go to Patreon to hear it.
I was like,
there's a little nasty little story that was shared on Patreon. It's actually in audio form, which is even fucking better. I'm going to start making people submit through audio. Yeah. Like the story was wow. I mean, I'm grossed out.
It could either be gross, it could be surprisingly like scary. It could be like, oh, that was a whole highlight time, and I really appreciate that.
So if you have one,
I gotta think.
Okay,
Sorry,
think about it. If
it'll be my version of a hoe.
Yeah, there's no judgment. You know, whatever level you're at.
Okay, let me think
we
about
welcome all the stories. Okay. But in the meantime, I know when we started the show, we let you chose a tarot card, and you got the 9 of Swords. And
I've never done this before, actually.
Oh, you really
haven't? I'm very intrigued to see.
Well, you can let us know if it resonates with you. It usually does. Okay. And you, when you looked at it, you seemed like the imagery. It's like
can we hold it up so they can see what I picked?
It's like a woman or man sitting up in the bed, like look like very.
It's me.
They look a little distraught.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
So what does it mean?
Upright, it means there's anxiety, worry, fear, nightmares. Let's see. The 9 of Swords suggests that dark thoughts or disturbing feelings are weighing you down and keeping you up at night. You are worrying excessively about a situation, and your negative thoughts are getting the better of you, leaving you stressed and anxious. The more you associate with your fears, the more they will rule your life. As you obsess over what's not working, the more anxious you become and the more you will worry. It becomes a negative cycle where one awful thought leads to another and another and another until they overwhelm you. I also resonate with this. Just as the Nine of Swords are stacked upon each other, each other on the wall, so too are your negative thoughts. Be careful, because the fear and worry in the Nine of Swords can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. As you obsess over what may go wrong, you are more likely to manifest your worst case scenario because you are inadvertently acting in ways that support your negative thoughts. You feel like this is resonating with you?
What you think? Yep.
The more my phone died. So that was really much.
I have it up here if you want me to.
He said, "This is what happens when you're a tarot
It was
queen.
like, I don't want to read it anymore
in training, and you rely on Biddy Tarot."
Honestly, I mean, I think
Wait. When the Nine of Swords appears in a reading, it is time to reach out for help.
Oh, help me, Jesus!
I did. Yeah, you did.
I'm proud of myself.
Which you did.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this alone. You don't. You have a group of women that are waiting to embrace you. Enlist the support of others to help you get through this dark period of your life. Others will help you see the light at the end of the tunnel and lead you towards a solution or a sense of peace despite your troubles. You are struggling to look at your situation clearly as you are plagued by negative thoughts. So having an objective, third-party perspective will help you find your way out.
Yes. Oh.
There is light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, I definitely relate to it, because like I was talking about with my project, we're like in the middle of it, and I'm just like, I really want this to work. Like, it has to work, and I want it to work, and I think that's where my thoughts start to spiral because of the experiences I've had before,
like the what ifs.
Yeah, but I'm trying to shift it, because somebody just asked me a question the other day. For advice, and she was like, well, how do I go about putting this music out? It's very vulnerable, I'm scared. And I said, well, you have to shift your thoughts from what if it sucks and what if people hate it to, well, what if it's great? What if they love it? And so I have to do that for myself. And I think the stress also comes from it's my livelihood, so if it doesn't work, I have to not scramble, but I'm grateful that I have the opportunities to do other things like act and host and do all those other things. But when the music is working, everything else is really working. So I really need this to work.
Well, that's your
your
main
passion.
thing.
Yeah, it is my passion. That's true. That's definitely true. It is my passion. I have to sing. I want to sing. I want to be on stage. And I think where the fear comes in is because the landscape has changed so much since even the last time I put out music. Like, I put out a little EP. I put out a Christmas album and an EP in 2020. And it's changed even from that time. And I'm like, is this new landscape going to accept this music? Yes, it is the majority. But I guess when I'm sleeping, all those subconscious thoughts come out, because I had the craziest nightmare.
Oh, really?
Like last week, I woke up I was sweating. I was panicked. I looked back and Dana was there, and I was like, it was so real. It was so real. And so, yeah.
So this card really does resonate.
Yes.
Shit.
And I'm very excited for our trip.
You should be.
I'm very excited for our trip. I need women. I need time to myself. I'm very excited.
Yes. And this episode is going to come out in July, so you'll already have been on the trip. But just so you guys know, Jordin.
You might be there right now.
She's probably there right now. She's in Mexico. Jordin's joining us on the Good Vibe Retreat. And I'm just so excited to create spaces for women, for all women, because we do need those spaces. We need places and spaces to feel like safe,
human,
embraced, human, unplug, not be needed, not, especially if your natural instinct is to pour into everyone, you sometimes have to remove yourself from the pouring place.
Oh, I have to. Absolutely.
You have to, or you can't physically do it. So it's just
because I will always go and sit back down with DJ, even if I'm dragging. Mommy, sit with okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I will. And I think that's important, but at the same time, like, I definitely have to be gone, like, out of
You've got to say
state.
yes to yourself.
I have to be gone
out of the country.
Yeah.
And but Dana, the amazing thing was I showed it to him and I was like showing him the thing. I said, babe, look at this. Doesn't this sound amazing? He was like, I want to go. I said, no.
Not you.
Nope. Just for me. And I was like, so, cause he actually is he is managing me at the time now. And he's also my A&R. So we also work together. And so scheduling, I had to be like, do we have these days open? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm taking them. Don't book anything. I don't care what comes in. this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
He was like, all right. And so I, just to be sure, yesterday was like, so are we good? And he was like, babe, I really you need to
Just do it.
just buy it. Just go. Because he knows. And I'm actually grateful because I'm the one that's like, I will be the one like, nope, I got to stay here. I got to do this. I got to do this. And Dana's like, can you go hang out with some friends?
Oh, yeah.
Like, can you go? Because he'll go on guys' trips all the time. And I have no problem with him. Like, go ahead. Like, please have a good time. But I won't do it for myself. So I'm grateful that that he can see that I need it.
Well, congratulations on choosing yourself and doing
Thank
that.
you.
And hopefully you'll even get more clarity and peace around releasing some of these feelings and ideas that this card holds. Well, this was beautiful.
Wait. Did you think of that horse?
Oh, shit. Look at Jay.
I almost got it. I almost made it. It might be just for Patreon. Let's see how juicy
I mean, I don't know. I don't have very many exciting stories, to be honest. Well, I will say I did have a hoe phase for like 6 months. I had 2 phones, the whole thing.
Not the 2 phones.
Yes, I had 2 phones. I was like, I had one for work and one for play.
If you want to listen to Jordin Sparks' host story, hoe face,
Hories.
make sure you go check out our Patreon. You can go to
Hope it's worth it for you.
patreon.com/Good Moms Bad Choices. Or guess what, guys? We're not rated NX or whatever the fuck they had us on Patreon for no fucking reason for. You can now search Good Moms Bad Choices in Patreon. They finally released the hold on our account because they
realize we're not X-rated.
Yeah.
We're not doing porn over here. Okay, surprise. Can you believe it?
Surprise.
Well, Jordin, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed myself.
Tell our people where they can find you.
You can find me on your radios. I'm kidding.
That too.
That's
You can find me at Jordin Sparks on all platforms except for TikTok. I think it's official Jordin Sparks, JORDIN SPARKS, and keep your ears and your eyes open for the new music because it's going to be really good and you won't regret listening to it.
Can't wait.
It's awesome. Yes.
We love you and we hope you have a beautiful rest of your week.